Hello, bearded bee people. Welcome back to the B&K's Bees channel. I get a lot of questions on the internet and from locals, from our club members all throughout the year. I try to itemize them or prioritize them in my mind, both on the frequency of these questions being asked and the importance of you knowing the answers to these questions. And I came up with a few really good tips that you should know about before or during your first year beekeeping. Tip number one is get more than one hive. Get 3 if you can, 5 if you feel up to it, but certainly get at least 2. There's so many differences between one hive and another that you won't necessarily know what is the norm, what should be happening, or when something isn't right. So you certainly need to get more than one hive. Tip number 2 is get a mentor. There are certain things that you just need an experienced beekeeper to find the answer for you. Whether you can't find it in a book, or you can't find a video on it on the internet, or you can't find an article on it, an experienced beekeeper will either be able to answer the question for you or lead you in the direction to the correct answer. You can also lean on YouTube. I did a lot during my first years. That can be kind of a surrogate mentor. A lot of the great beekeeping YouTubers out there have lots of great videos. Ralph Jones III, 628 Dirt Rooster, JP the Bee Man, Walls Bee Man, Brugan's Bees, Jason Chrisman. They're all great YouTubers, and they have videos on most of the questions that you may have come up. And tip number 3 is a couple of the tips rolled into one. Always pull the outside frame first. Therefore, you're more likely to pull a frame that does not have the queen on it. You can set it aside to create more room. And then when you're done with your inspection, always remember to snug your frames together. I've said it 1,000 times on this channel and to almost every beginning beekeeper that I've worked with, that if they get extra space, especially when the nectar's flowing, they will get creative, and it can be really problematic. To add another point to that, any comb that the cells aren't pointing straight at you, that would be comb where the cells are pointing to the side, or comb that's double layered, it has to go. It won't get better. They will not fix it. It will only get worse. Each time you get into the hive, you'll have to set the frames a little further and a little further apart, and you'll end up with 7 frames in the 10 frame box and 0 ability to manage the bees within. Tip number 4, learn the difference between drone brood, worker brood, and queen cells. A lot of times I get text messages with questions that have a picture of either a queen cup or a drone cell, and they're wondering if their hive is going to swarm or if they're superseding. They look different. Queen cup's usually pointed down and it doesn't have anything in it. A queen cell is pointed down with something in it. That's when you have to worry. But if you see drone brood, it's nothing abnormal. They're going to do that whether you like it or not. It's part of the natural propagation cycle. It happens a lot in mid to late summer. You'll see a lot more of them, but learn the difference. I will put up a picture during this video that shows them back to back to back, but it'll take many times of you seeing them in your hive before you instinctively know what you're looking at. Alright, now what's the last one? The last couple.
You said bird comb.
Signs of the queen. Tip number 5. Practice, of course, finding the queen. It's a satisfying thing when you find her. You know she's in there, you know she's doing her job, but also learn to find signs of her. In some cases, whether you're time constrained, or there's just too many bees in the box, or she's just a hider, you need to figure out if she's in there but you can't find her, so you find eggs. I will append a picture of fresh eggs, but once again, you'll have to see them many times. There are some tips to be able to find them. Place the cell and yourself in a configuration where the sun is shining directly down into the bottom of the cell. That'll illuminate it a little bit. But if you need a thought in your mind, think miniaturized piece of rice. It's usually standing at some type of an angle. Eggs are easier to find than young larvae, and once you start getting the knack of it, you'll really become quite adept at finding eggs, and then you'll know once again that she was there within the last 3 days. Alright, so those were the 5 tips that came to my mind when I thought of the most frequently asked questions by beginners. If you can get those things down, find yourself a mentor, get a couple more hives, learn what you're looking at, utilize YouTube, and always, always, always snug those frames together. I think you'll have a really, really successful first year. If you liked this video, click like. If you haven't already, click subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate that. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and get out there and have some fun with your bees.